Welcome back, and let's talk about Unit 2, Lesson 4. We are talking about here 2.4. Describe proportional relationships, and we're talking about the constant of proportionality today. This is on page 14 through 17. And it says I can use the constant of proportionality in an equation to represent a proportional relationship. We're still talking about these proportional relationships, and what does the constant of proportionality have to do with it? We're about to find out. So we're going to go to page, let me put my finger. Go to page 14, right down here. As you see, it is page 14. We are going to start at the beginning because we are going to do some vocabulary first, and then we'll start on example 1 right under it. So you see it's separated by that dotted line. Here's a little picture of what I would think if I was a kawaii little character. And, it says Heights Middle School on there, and it tells you a little thing, but we'll get to that in a second. So first things first, let's fill in this vocabulary. So it says the blank blank is the constant multiple that relates the blank quantities and blank quantities, blank and blank. Lots of stuff to fill in there, so let's get it filled in. So let's fill in those blanks again. The constant of proportionality is what we're going to put here. Constant. Oh, I forgot a blank in the middle, so we're going to put that of right here. Proportionality is the constant multiple that relates the proportional quantities X and Y. And we looked at this kind of yesterday, or not yesterday, but the last time we did notes. We had a Y, we had an X, we related them, and we said they were proportional. And we're going to talk about what that means and what is it called. So it is the value of the ratio Y over X. And it's a little tight, sorry guys. And is represented by K. So this Y over X is K. You can use K to write an equation that represents a proportional relationship. Sorry, it's taking me so long to write this, but it gives you guys time to write it. So here's my little me over here talking about you can use an equation in the form of Y equals KX to represent a proportional relationship. And how we get that is, well, K equals Y over X. And we saw this last time in our notes where we were looking at the hearts and coins, or lives and coins. So we put our Y on top and our X on bottom. And then we said that equals our K of our constant of proportionality. So, well, if K equals Y over X, you can multiply K by X in order to get Y, which is saying Y equals KX. When we just flipped it on this one, because you remember, either side of the equal sign, it gives us the same thing. And you can get this, if you really want to see, by multiplying by X here, multiplying by X here, and that's where you got that. Now we have K times X, that's all that means when they're right next to each other. And we have our Y by ourselves because when you multiply by something that's on the bottom of the denominator and it's in the numerator, they cancel each other out, leaving us with just Y. And that's how we get there. So this is going to be our formula, our equation. Important, remember this, Y equals KX. So let's start doing some math. Maria made 2 batches of fruit punch. The table to the right shows how many quarts of juice she used for each batch. Write an equation that relates the proportional quantities. So she said she made 2 batches of fruit punch, and she had used 5, doesn't tell us what, 5 something, we'll say, quarts. 5 quarts of apple juice and 8 quarts of grape juice to make hers, which gives us a ratio of 8/5. Now over here, you have 10 quarts and 16, so we have a ratio of 16/10. So now we've been given our ratios. Let's see, remember these fractions just means we're dividing. So we're gonna say 8 divided by 5. We're gonna put it in our calculator and we get 1.6. If we put in our calculator 16 divided by 10, we get 1.6. So our constant of proportionality here is 1.6. So if we wanted to write an equation for this relationship, it says an equation that represents this proportional relationship is y equals 1.6x. And that's it. That's our relationship. This is our constant. And it's just what we've been doing is taking that y and dividing it by our x in order to figure out what number. And if you would really want to know, this is the number we would multiply to get from here to here. 5 times 1.6 will give us 8. 10 times 1.6 would give us 16. It's just the number of how we get from our x to our y. So in the convince me, it says, how does the equation change if the amount of grape juice is the independent variable and the amount of apple juice is the dependent variable? So right now, our independent variable is our apple juice, and our dependent variable is our grape juice. So we're going to switch them. So let's make a table. If this was now our grape juice over here, I'm just going to put grape juice. And over here, I'm going to put apple juice. And we're going to put our x here, our y here. Well, now things are going to be different. We're going to have 8 over 5 and 16 over 10, which means if we wanted to know what our y over x was, it would now be 5 over 8 and 10 over 16. Well, if we put those in our calculators, 5 times 8, 5 divided by 8, guys, sorry, equals 0.625, and 10 divided by 16, put it in your calculator again, you should get 0.625. So it changed it for us. Let me erase that, sorry guys. There we go, 25. So what happened was our constant of proportionality changed, and our new equation will be y equals 0.625x. So our k would equal 0.625. And this would be our k over here, just FYI if you wanted to know. So that's how it would change it. It does matter what order they go in. You cannot put it on either side. You need to figure out which one depends upon the other one, and we're going to practice that. So let's go on to example 2. So it says 1 inch equals 2.54 centimeters. How many centimeters long is an 18-inch ruler? So first we're going to write an equation to represent the relationship. In order to do that, we need to know what is our y, what is our k, what is our x. So we got to figure out, remember up here it told us our independent variable is going to be our x. So for this one, we're going to say our independent variable is going to be inches because that's our 1. So we're going to say our inches is going to be our x. And our centimeters is going to be our y. And then our constant, our k, is going to be our constant of proportionality. So now we need to figure out what that k is. Well, if we said this is our x and this is our y, and we know that k equals y over x, well, our k is going to then equal 2.54 over 1. Well, that's going to be, our k is going to be then 2.54. So if we stick it into the equation, y equals kx, we know our y is going to equal 2.54x. Well, we know what our x is for what we want to know for 18 inches. This is going to be x as well. So we're going to say y equals 2.54 times 18. And so now we need to do 2.54 times 18. And remember, we just took the x that we knew, the 18, and we replaced it in our equation in order to figure out what our y is. And so we're going to take that 18, we're going to multiply it by 2.54 in order to figure out how many centimeters an 18-inch ruler will be. So we'll say 18 times 2.54, and we get 45.5 45.72. So we know a ruler is 45.72 centimeters long if it's 18 inches long. And so tomorrow, guys, you guys will go over a example in class. I'm obviously no longer there. I miss you guys dearly. So if you just want to say hi, send me a message on Canvas. You guys can check in on me. I will definitely email you back because I'm going to be so bored. I can't wait to get back, guys. If you have any questions, again, hit me up on Canvas, hit me up an email, whatever you like, or just come say hi. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll see you guys later, guys.